That kind of feels like that's a L.
Well, it is in the view of we looking at sports or anything like that.
Yeah,
It is,
yeah,
but you can't tell your soldiers that you lost that war. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell your Marines that you lost a war,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
because then what does that look for their morale or the people that lived through that war, right? You're gonna tell them they lost a war and they're coming home and they're gonna feel less than what they already are, right?
We can't lie. I
So
mean, we can't lie to you.
you're it's true. We're not supposed to lie,
When we
right?
left, when we left, when we left camp, we said we might win, we may lose. Some of us may lose our lives. You can't come back like it was a toddler, volleyball game
Well,
and everybody's winners and everybody gets a ribbon
and
because you participated.
so the truth I would say with the Vietnam War is what made it so worse and the reason why we start really pulling out, it was a real true first televised war.
Hmm.
Meaning from World War One, World War Two, they had cameras, but it was shot and then you wouldn't see the things 2, 3 months later. The Vietnam War was actually in what you per se real time, right? So we like it was the first real time war that the public was able to actually see was really going on and how it affected both Vietnam and the America and how it was decimating those the individuals that were encountered in the war. You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought that
So
was I thought the Civil War was the first one that started happening. So you saying it was the Vietnam War?
no, the Vietnam was the first televised media war.
Hmm.
Like, okay, so when we were remember when like, I will say like this, I was in the Iraq war, right?
Okay.
So in 2003, the Iraq war hit. You had the first big battle was the Battle of Fallujah, right? And the media was like right in there, like reporters was right in there in the middle of the gunfights and stuff like that, reporting what's going on in
Wow.
Fallujah.
Wow.
Vietnam was that first type of war.
Wow.
It was that first type of war that actual reporters that were in there doing the reporting in the midst of fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's interesting.
that war, because it was viewed by the public and how gruesome it wasn't a pretty view for the U.S. You know what I'm saying?
Not at
So
all.
because at that moment we were considered a superpower.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a good look for the U.S. at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
so
So
but that's why I brought up the Vietnam War in regards to the story being told, history being told by the victor,
yeah.
because I always wondered, well, what do the Vietnam books, what do they look like when they talk about the
Yeah.
Vietnam War? Like when they are referencing the Viet Cong and how those groups went to small spaces in an area that they knew very well and
Hmm.
basically took out American soldiers at will.
Yeah.
I know how our books sound when we talk about Vietnam, but what do your books sound like? Because you guys were more of the victor in that one than us.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I'm with you though. I'm with you though, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's a very interesting point. Is like how media played a part in different wars and how it's developed. And I didn't know that you were in a that was what Operation Iraqi Freedom or something like that.
yeah, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were involved in that. So, with that being said, that's a good transition to let's tell people a little bit about you real quick. Tell us where you from, a little bit about your background. If you don't mind, sir.
Okay. So, man, where I start? Well, I'm actually I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico, but my dad is Dominican. So he's from Dominican Republic, the island, pretty much neighborhood.
Okay.
And I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Dominican Republic, and my family moved from there. They moved to New York, and from New York, I ended up residing at 9 years old all the way till I joined the military in Miami. Right. So Florida is my home. Um, I'm Florida everything in sports, baseball, lifestyle, everything.
I know Dolphins. I know.
And uh, I joined the military when I was 18, 2004, when I graduated. Did
Okay,
2 tours in Iraq.
respect.
After I got out, joined the Army Reserve out here in California, and this is where I reside now. Did 6 years in the Army Reserve on that, and while I was doing that, I got my master's and my bachelor's in business and human resources, and I'm a barber, right? I got a master, but I ended up being a barber,
Okay,
something that I love.
yeah,
And Man, I get to interact with people all the time from all different ages, backgrounds, different experiences.
yeah.
So it allows me to, especially when it comes to history, you get to talk to the guys that were actually, I talk to a lot of vets and stuff. So they tell you exactly what's going on for not just their perspective because they lived it, but what's going on during the time they were going through and how America was different then than it is now,
Mm,
and I could compare and contrast
yeah.
so yeah.
So how many years was that you were enlisted in the military?
So total it would be 10 years.
10 years
So
total.
6 years reservist, 4 years active. So total you would say 10 years.
10 years. And what made you make that choice? You said you made that choice in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um Man, I always was intrigued with the uniform. At first, I wanted to be a cop, right?
Mm,
But I saw Saving Private Ryan. That's actually the movie that I saw,
mm,
and that movie clicked. And then after that was The Thin Red Line, which was a phenomenal movie. It was based on Vietnam, and those are the two movies that I love to this day. And
great.
I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. So
Okay, but right there. I want to peek into that moment because for people that don't understand a soldier's quest to defend their country, a soldier's heart to make
mhm.
that decision that like I'm willing to put my life on the line. It's one thing to hear somebody say, "Yeah, I just that was the moment." You know what I mean? Like once I saw that uniform, something clicked. But to those that don't understand that, like, well, what clicked? What about it? What about those movies? What about seeing those soldiers made you go, "That's my purpose"? Like that should be me.
I think it's the pride, right?